let's get into the position where it all starts on offense, and that is the quarterback. Last year, the quarterback situation felt like a week-to-week thing between injuries and performance. Jalen Jones graduates, which leaves one to believe Trexler Ivy is the quarterback to take the reins in this offense. However, they bring in Max Brown from Florida. How did that QB battle shape up in the spring?
It's going to be Max Brown. He's going to be the QB1. Biff's very blunt about that. He liked the way that Max just came in and really commanded the offense, took diligent time to learn the offense and learn the plays and just really take on a leadership role as an outsider who's coming into a team where he doesn't really know a lot of people, but really was just commanding the not just the offense, but the team as a whole, and really stepped up. And Biff really liked that quality in him, and throws a heck of a ball. I'll say that. He doesn't make harsh and rash decisions really quick. He really goes through his progressions nicely and makes the right reads.
There's a true freshman early enrollee, Deshaun Pirtle. Can you describe his play for those who are not familiar with his game?
Deshaun Purdy, actually, he, really good arm. Made some quick decisions, tried to force some things in the spring game, but Biff was pleased by what he saw from Purdy's performance. He's a true freshman. You're going to make mistakes as a true freshman, but he's going to be a great asset to the 49ers. I don't think he'll be the backup immediately, but I think as the season progresses, he could end up being the number 2 guy.
Moving over to the running game, the 49ers lose their leading rusher from 2023 and the aforementioned quarterback, Jalen Jones. But from the RB position, they return their top 2 rushers in Teron Kelman and Hashawn Wilson. I still remember that game. Wilson went absolutely nuts there at the end of the season. Yeah. They bring in former Iowa State running back Cartavius Norton and former Michigan running back C.J. Stokes. How did the running back room shape up in the spring?
Well, that's one thing that Biff tried to kind of hide away. They didn't run the ball one time in the spring game, and what little bit of practice, media were allowed to go out and observe. The running back room looks good. I'll be really interested to see what Cartavius Norton does because Biff speaks highly of him. Real stocky, kind of downhill rusher, not real tall, but he can run some people over. So I think Norton will make an immediate impact, and I'll be interested to see Wilson as he takes a more assertive role in the offense because obviously last year he was running behind 2 running backs in Darrell Robinson and Chadrick Byrd for the early part of the season until he kind of took over later in the year.
With Jones graduating, do you think those carries kind of move more towards the running backs here in 2024?
I would definitely hope so. Jones was good in his own right running the ball, but I think sometimes the offense became a little bit too predictable with the read option game with him and the running backs. He gave a lot of cues away as to when he was going to pull the ball and this, that, and the other. So I think you'll see a lot more true, I guess you could say, power running from the I formation and even out of the shotgun. I like to see, or I would like to see this running back room have more carries because I just don't think Max Brown is quite the running quarterback that Jones was.
So if you had to take a guess, do you think Biff wants like one workhorse type running back this year, or do you think it's going to be, a split with all this talent in the running back room?
He's always been a guy that's been known to use a lot of running backs, and he'll tell you that he wants guys fresh all the time. So I think you'll see a maybe 2 or 3 deep rotation pretty consistently. Just be interested to see who steps up and emerges in fall camp and becomes those 3 guys.
Well, it sounds like we're gonna have to follow up with you to get an idea of who those 3 are. In the passing game, it has a lot coming back here in 2024. We'll talk about the tight ends a little later, but in terms of wide receiver, they return their top receiver, Jairus Mack, but lose their wide receiver 2 in terms of receiving yards, and Jack Hestra to the portal. They also return Dwayne Thomas Jr. and bring in some help from the portal. They add Justin Olson from Middle Tennessee State, Coffrey Brown from USF, and most recently Omega Blake from East Carolina, who is not there for the spring. So since he wasn't there for the spring, can you tell us a little bit about this room?
Yeah, Mac's gonna be he's gonna be really good. I like Jairus's game, but freshman Isaiah Myers, really tall, 6'3", 6'4", extremely talented, has great hands. But you mentioned Coffrey Brown. Well, he he committed to Charlotte, then decommitted and committed elsewhere within a week. So he's not going to be with the team. But no, I like Isaiah Myers and Jairus Mack to be the 1 and 2. I really do. I think even as a freshman, Myers comes in and can just be that deep ball threat for Max Brown. But Jairus is going to be the workhorse. I really feel like.
Can you tell us a little bit about other early enrollee freshman Miles Burris?
Great route runner. I think just by watching some of his highlights, he is real precise with his cuts. Not necessarily doesn't have the hands or that Myers does, but he can make an impact even as a freshman. I'll be interested to see what kind of sets they run for him and what kind of formations he lines up in.
Who do you expect to see as the starting wide receivers in this Mike Miller led offense?
Mack and Myers, definitely two of them. You mentioned Dwayne Thomas, really talented, a little bit more of I guess you could say, burly type receiver who is isn't afraid of contact. Dwayne Thomas, he definitely can get down the field and assert his size and dominance in one-on-one jump ball situations. So I like those three. Um, be interested to see if Biff will start a true freshman. I mean, he started true freshman Darrell Robinson last year, but Myers comes in, and I think he gets the start. I think he'll be one of the starting three.
Maybe one of the strengths of this team for in 2024 will be the tight end position. The 49ers returned Colin Weber. In 2023, he led the team in receptions with 34 and targets with 47, and was good for second in receiving yards with 362. Should we expect more of the same from Weber in 2024?
I think you can expect the same, maybe not numbers wise, because now that Charlotte has a quarterback that's kind of more of a pocket presence, I think they're going to be getting it to the receivers a little bit more. A lot of times last year, Weber would kind of be a last resort and like a check down, and I mean, some throws were down the field. Don't get me wrong, but I think from a consistency standpoint, he's going to be, kind of that safety blanket. But I don't think necessarily he'll be second in target or second in receiving yards either.
The offensive line took a little hit this offseason, losing 4 of the 5 starters to graduation or the portal. They bring back center Johnny King. But what did Charlotte do this offseason to shore up the rest of that offensive line, and how did they look in the spring?
Yeah, I mean, brought in a bunch of transfers. Jordan Herman from Florida, 6'8" offensive tackle. Obviously, he knows Max Brown. He's going to protect his blind side. I mean, 6'8", 370. I mean, and a lot of
Big
times
boy.
he's massive. And a lot of times you'll say, oh well, he might not be that agile. No, this kid can move. Mitchell Mays, another offensive tackle, standing around 6'3", 6'3 and a half from Clemson. So they, Biff and Tim Brewster didn't just sit around and not address the issues. They brought in some guys that they felt would not only replace what they had but make it even better.
If you had to pick an offensive player to have a breakout type season in 2024, who would that be?
Breakout type season. I mean, the easy cliche answer is Max Brown, but I really feel like just him coming into a G5 school that he can command and just lead. I think that he could have a really big year. Even in an offensive system where Biff tries to run the ball, I think you'll see a lot more passing than 49er fans would have expected, just because of the nature of how just naturally gifted Max is.
And how you've seen stuff this spring, is he honing in on one target, or is he kind of spreading the ball around to everybody?
No, he spreads it around. He doesn't have a favorite guy yet. He did talk about Isaiah Myers calling him up top Zay, just because how tall he is and how he has a jump ball ability. But no, he spreads it around, and he really seems to have a good connection early with a lot of his teammates. So I think it'll be interesting just to see how he continues to develop relationships with his receiver room.
A key thing that we all want to know. Is he roommates with any of the wide receivers? That's a big narrative.
That is a question I actually don't know. I'd have to ask him.
All right.
Hail Charlotte 49ers, proud as we can be. We stand to fight for the green and white till we win the victory. Go Niners! We pledge our trust in you and wave our colors high. The loyal Niner nation choose forever. We'll fight.